Hello everyone and welcome to the Nations Cup World Tour analysis. This is from the Paris event, of course. We're actually wearing our FIA hat there, as you can just see. I just had to check the camera was there as well. But yes, we're at the Nations Tour analysis now, and we're going to look at both the races I was involved in. So that's obviously the Fuji race with the N500 cars with times 42 tyre wear. So if you thought the times 33 was harsh, this is times 42. And then we've got the rally race as well, and I've got some clips from that rally race that may interest you as well, in terms of maybe getting your opinion on some of the incidents that involved. I only recorded bits of my perspective in there. I had to be very quick with it. I got the final lap and a couple of incidents, but we'll get to them in due course. So first of all, let's have a look at this Nations Cup race, this first one. Now I'll go through the grid, of course, and then I'll explain who had the strong cars, who didn't, and we'll go from there. So, first of all, you can see the number one on the grid already. It's Igor Fraga. Probably had one of the worst cars on the grid, the Lamborghini, not the greatest. Jonathan Wong had the best car on the grid. Definitely the McLaren was up there. Koke definitely had one of the worst cars on the grid there in the Jaguar. The rear tyres went on that a lot. Corvette, middle ground, I'd say. Aston, not very good on its tyres at all. Very bad, actually. Same with Karatse in the Lexus. Again, very bad on its tyres. Although it was very nice to drive. The BMW, very bad on its tyres as well. Well, a lot of these are, aren't they, really? The worst on its tyres is there for you. Dan Holland really got the joker of the bunch. As did Fabian there in the Audi R8. Because that was just slow. It was the slowest car out of all the ones I tested. It was alright on its tyres, but slow. That was also one of the best cars on the grid, the Ford GT. My word, that car was strong. It had a little bit of understeer, no oversteer, so it could manage its tyres really, really well. As you can see, strong grid there. I decided to start on the soft tyres and then go with the medium later, just from the fuel. That was my decision. You can see here, Fabian and Pierre went on the medium tyres. Interesting decision, of course, with the battles that are potentially going to happen earlier on. It's worthwhile doing, because then you have the soft tyres for later on. Even so, I personally went with the other way just because of such heavy fuel load and such high tyre wear. I thought it'd be quite difficult. Now, of course, first corner was always going to be interesting. I did speak with Dan Holland beforehand. Dan sat behind me. He said he's not going to try anything absolutely insane because he wants to get to a Repechage race, because that's where his sort of like perfection was. He was amazing at Fisherman's Ranch. I said, obviously, go for the move if you have the chance. It's racing at the end of the day. But he said, yeah, I'm not going to do anything stupid. So it's fair enough. It's racing at the end of the day. So let's have a look what actually happens here at the start. If you've not seen this already, please do check out the Gran Turismo channel out, and the live stream is there. Of course, I'm commentating over my parts here, but the full stream is there. So you can see everybody gets into line straight away as we head down. I got a really good start, actually. I was actually catching Karatse very quickly. You can see that being only 2.5 tenths. But if you look in the background, Audi R8, Fabian misses his braking point here, and he's just trying to avoid people, but unfortunately he hits Adam a little bit there. So Fabian goes off, Adam goes down. So effectively, we're still in the same position, but Dan actually nailed the braking point perfectly. So yeah, as I say, Dan nailed that perfectly into the first turn. So I was like, fair enough, you can turn in. I did see the Audi coming as well, so I was trying to avoid that. But we survived. So we're currently P7 here. Oh, that was sorry, Fabian. I've stopped that in the right awkward place. I was battling with Pierre a little bit there. Obviously, Fabian's just had a nightmare start. I suppose one of the issues we have is we don't get to practice the starts at these live events. So, it's all very well and good having Fuji first corner, but if someone even slightly misses their braking zone because we don't have any practice, yeah, it's a bit iffy. But even so, we continue on. And you can see that there, Fabian's reaction. He wouldn't have meant that. Obviously, it's a live event. You just miss your braking point even by an inch there, you're going to go flying. He did try and avoid as many people as possible, so that's fair enough. So, further back, CPS just struggling a little bit with the medium tyre. Carlos already up to 8th position in that Ford GT. As I say, it's very, very quick. And here's that Audi coming through. Look, you can see he's trying to avoid everybody. Just clips the front end of Adam there. He literally tried to get in that gap there. So it's very unfortunate. Very well managed, I would say, by Fabian to avoid most people there. You can see Igor's pulled away a little bit here. Surprising, as I say, the McLaren was definitely the best. One thing to note, actually, with these cars is the transmissions have all been made equal and the LSDs have been changed on them as well. So it's not necessarily the same cars you would race if you had the BOP on in the game. They've got a fully customizable transmission. That was to stop the gear delays on some cars, because believe it or not, that McLaren was over a second faster than everything else before that. And the LSD has been slightly changed as well, and that was to reduce the tyre wear issue on some of these cars, which is good. It's nice that they brought the cars closer together in this N500 category. That penalty, it's just, you know, it was inevitable really, but it is what it is. But we're 7th at the moment. We had to come in the top 10 in order to either qualify for the Repechage race, just make sure that we didn't come 11th or 12th. You can see Dan Holland's making progress here. I knew Dan had struggled towards the end of the stint. I'd say that was probably the worst car on its tyres. The front tyres mainly. It's four-wheel drive, but the fronts absolutely go straight away. My car, it's a mixture of both sets of tyres, but I could get rotation in at least, and it struggled a little bit on the straights, but you can see that now behind. Carlos is just accelerating by, and this is the crazy thing with this car, right? Look, Carlos is accelerating by me, even though I'm in the slipstream. What is that about? Look, I'm in the slipstream of the Nissan, and I can't do anything. Absolutely incredible. So Carlos actually gets 2 positions there, 3 positions on one straight. And then I managed to get by Karatsu a little bit here, but we're going to be side by side. Quintus left-hander. The minute we're sort of alongside each other, at this point, I'm going to have to give this position up potentially. There you go. Karatsu makes that move. Hits Dan Holland though, and that's the only reason he survives in that corner, because he did try and outbrake me. So it's side by side here, and I'm trying to just maintain my position. I am on the inside here, so I am getting my elbows out a little bit here. As we then come towards the left-hander, a little bit of a tap there from Pierre, just because of the softer medium tyres, sorry, and I get a little bit of a hit there, so that cost me some speed. So Pierre Lemoire gets that, so he's doing very well on the medium tyres, is Pierre. I just got unfortunate there, I think, because there was a slight nudge from Pierre, and then the Karatsu nudged my front end, so, you know, I lost a lot of speed because of that. So now I've got to really start getting my elbows out here. But unfortunately, there's big contact there between Pierre and Dan Holland. And you see how I had to slam on there? I don't know if I can go back a little bit here. If we can get to... Nope. You can see the carnage afterwards. So if we just wait for this to catch up a little bit. No. Oh, here we go. Watch me have to slam on even more. So I was literally near standing still there. And Yatlam Law's in there now. We've got this big gaggle of cars. This is costing us so much time. The gap is just going up and up and up and up. Literally 2 seconds already to Carlos. I mean, he only overtook us on that lap. And look at that gap go. So we've got all these battles going on. I'll try and get on the inside of Dan Holland at this point. And you can see that there, so, you know, Dan gives me room, I give Dan room. This is fair racing. This is what I like about this. Me and Dan giving each other really fair play room. So we then come into the left. Again, I'm just giving Dan enough room here. Slight bit of contact. I just managed to stay on that curb there to avoid a penalty. As we then come into the right-hander. So I just get my elbows out a little bit because I was like, oh, yeah, you push me out a little bit, I'll have that. Gave Dan room on the exit. So then we're side by side again. So that's good. That's good. You know, I don't mind that kind of racing. That's fair enough. You can see Adam's got a good run here as well in the Aston Martin with the speed. But, yeah, that kind of racing is fine. You know, we're giving each other just enough room. It's good, action-packed. You can see that I'm losing so much speed. The M4 very slow on the straight lines. As I then try and go down the inside, I've got my braking point sorted. Down the inside of Adam. And, well, Jimmy said I should have tried to get my elbows out a bit more. But literally, if I'd have hit Adam, that's not very fair. So that's the reason. You know, we were side by side through that. It's fine. But I did realise that I'd have to come back here. But I knew Dan had struggled a little bit here, and Adam as well in terms of tyre wear. So I wasn't really that, you know, like, oh my word, I'm going to be out. I was like, okay, I need to get some elbows out of here a bit more. So we continue on with the race all the same. So looking at that, all very well and good. So at this point, I'm just waiting for the race to come to me a little bit. Sorry, I was listening to the commentary as well. But you can see this gap. Look, 4.5 seconds now to these guys. So we're effectively, actually, well, we'll call that 5.5. Call that 6 seconds now. 8.5 seconds off Fraga. 8.5 seconds. That's significant. Look, we're only on the 3rd lap. So huge, this battle is cost us loads. So if you look here, Dan then hits Pierre. So again, this is going to slow us up absolutely massively. I give Dan just enough room down the exit. I managed to get 2 positions because of it. But yeah, so kind of awkward that these two are then fighting with each other. It slowed us up even more. So at this point, you know, we've lost nearly 2 seconds to Yatlam Law at this point. It's a lot. It's a lot of time. But we are catching up again at this point because Adam's struggling on his tyres. And we just need to stay in that top 10. As I say, that's our goal here. And I knew if I was ahead of Dan Holland at least, then I know I'd qualify because his tyres at the end of his stint are going to be insane. You can see now everybody's going to start coming into the pits here. Koke, Giorgio, Carlos, all in the pits. Slight tap of the barrier. We did get a warning about tapping that barrier because, as you very well know, there is a slight bug in the game that if you tap a barrier, you can knock 2 seconds off your pit stops. So when I've watched this back afterwards, you see, we'll talk about tyre strategy actually once everybody's in the pit. But you'll notice that Koke's... In fact, let's talk about tyres now, shall we? There we go. So Adam chose hards. Look, these guys are having to pick hards because of their tyre wear. And everyone else can pick mediums. Now you'll notice Karatza and Fraga have made big mistakes, both going on softs. So they're going to have to pit again, otherwise we'll get a significant penalty. I didn't know that at the time. I was just going to race as normal, out the pits and carry on as normal. But yeah, these guys are on obviously the cars that really wreck their tyres. Now the M4 does wreck its tyres. Now one of the things that I had the decision of, because we were fighting so much, my tyre wear was very low in that first 3 laps. I was tempted to stay out an extra lap, but I decided against it. I thought, okay, I'm in the pack, I'm still in the battle, don't risk the top 10 position. So I came in, put mediums on, and I knew I could get these to the end of the race quite easily. I was tempting hards before the race even started, but I was like, no. I've managed my tyre wear so well in this race, I can keep that. So that's why I did that. But if we also look at times, as I say, Koke hit the barrier, 17.3 for Fraga, 17.3 for Koke. So, there's no issue there. But if he had gained 2 seconds, I would have had a bit of a problem with that because we significantly got told, don't hit that barrier on the entrance to the pit. So, Koke in 3rd, Giorgio in 4th, Carlos in 5th. Now, I know that Ford GT is going to accelerate here. So, talking about me now, going back to P9. See, I'm on the medium tyre, so I know I'm going to be able to catch Adam here on the hard tyre. So, Adam was somebody who I knew I could try and get past in the Aston because I knew it would be really bad at the end of a stint. And that was helping me, decide that whether I could be secure about where I am at the moment. I knew Pierre, so I did have a look as we started the race up at the board. I knew Pierre would be on the softer tyre, so I was a bit wary of that for this race. But as long as I was ahead of Dan, as I say, because the Nissan's tyres are horrible, and I could compete with Adam, as you see there, I'm competing with Adam, got the move done. I knew I would, have the possibility to be in that Repechage race. So, we're just going to watch a little bit of this now. Through there we go. It's very close racing, but as I said, that Ford GT absolutely superb. It didn't suffer with oversteer, had a little bit of understeer, but because of very little oversteer, it could manage its tyres so well, and it's so fast on the straights. You saw that earlier when it was overtaking me. I was in the slipstream and it was still accelerating past me. So this is the one problem with N500 races or any of the N races. It's just literally some cars are so overpowered versus others. It's just, it's crazy. You see Jonathan Wong's come in the pits. That's how good the McLaren was. It was very good. Fraga, interestingly, comes in the pits now. Now, if I was Fraga, I'd have done another lap at least and then come in the pits. But maybe you thought he might get a penalty earlier on. Not sure. So, we'll just wait for the grid to sort itself out briefly once Fraga's been in the pits. See how Karatza stays out? That's what I would have probably done if I was Fraga, stayed out an extra lap. But as I say, he might have thought the penalty would have instantly happened, so he survived there. So I'm up to 7th position at this point. I'm ahead of Adam. Adam and Dan are going to be fighting. So I was literally like, okay, I can catch that Lam Law here. And I wasn't sure about Karatza up ahead, but then I could see Koke. So I was thinking, actually, do you know what? I could actually get 4th place here. I really, really could. And obviously 4th place was a significant position because 4th place got you to that final race at Autopolis in the Red Bull cars. Here you can see Lopez made a big mistake there under braking, outbroke himself completely. So Carlos and Giorgio go through. So you can see here, I'm 1.7 seconds behind Yatlam Law at this point. So I think what we will do is we're just going to fast forward this a tiny bit more. Here we go. So Karatsa's been in the pits. Fraga is now catching up to me, and I'd realised Fraga had been in the pits again. You can see I'm only half a second off Yatlam Law, so I've gained 1.2 seconds in a lap, one lap, but we're still significantly far off Koke here. So if we continue on, and I was actually putting a lot of pressure on Yatlam Law. Now, I was looking for a place to overtake, because as I say, I reckon we could have caught up to Koke here. You can see that gap coming down so fast as well. It's 4 seconds at the moment. We'll have a look. You can see I just had a little bit of a nose up the inside of Yatlam Law here. Dan and Pierre still fighting each other. So Dan's doing very well in that Nissan. As I say, that Nissan is nasty. Should we put it that way? On tyre wear. Absolutely horrible. Try it yourself, guys. Put it on times 30 tyre wear. Same sort of settings that they have in the game. And as you can see here, I'm all over the back of Yatlam Law now. Absolutely all over the back of him. So I was looking for a place to overtake. Now, Fraga is on the back of me. So there's no point me fighting Fraga when he's got 42 lap fresher tyres. So I actually let him go here a little bit because I was hoping he'd catch up to Koke. So I did let him go there. I gave him lots of room. I knew he'd go up the inside, and that was purposely done. You know, a lot of people on the comments, in fact, we can have a look at the comments. Let me go out there. So somebody mentions that I'm... Come on, Tidgney. Let's see if any comment... I swear I read a comment, and I was like, well, I did that on purpose. Okay, maybe I didn't. But you can see now, before I get alongside Yatlam Law. Okay, we'll just jump back into it. We're doing this on the fly, guys. Doing it on the fly. So, obviously, Fraga's going to get the position here. 42 lap fresher tyres. So, coming down into braking zone. So, you're going to see here now, if we have a look, Yatlam Law's on the outside, so I'm thinking, excellent, perfect opportunity to get through here. Remember, this decides the repechage grid as well. So, down the inside I go. Now, I'm going to slow this down because this is significant, right? So, you can see I'm on the right side here, Yatlam Law on the left. And you've been struggling with his tyres and braking. So, I've been catching him all the time. So, as we now come into this braking zone, you're going to have to really focus your view over to the left. Sorry, I'm looking on two screens here. So, as we come into the braking zone, we're alongside each other. And watch that, watch that, watch that. Now, it doesn't look like there's contact, but there definitely is contact. So I'm wondering if it's that bubble again. Let's have a look at this again. There's definitely contact because I go flying here. But it looks like it's only just contact. Yatlam Law even came and apologised. So I know there definitely was contact. So if you watch this, comes into the braking zone. And it must be there. So you know how on some of them, so I'm going to do this, right? You know how it's not necessarily contact like that. It's always a bubble. He must have just glanced me. And it was only tiny, as I say. Because what happens here is I go flying. Because it happened in the braking zone as I went on the brakes. Anyway, I go flying here. You'll see me there. Sliding. Trying to stop the car. And you can see it. Look at that. Look at the suspension. I love this. This is awesome. But, yeah. I got absolutely sort of like nudged off there. You can see Yatlam Law only just made the corner. So, in theory, you know, I wouldn't have made that corner even been on the outside. Dangerous move, I understand that. So, and he did apologise after for it. But the more annoying thing here now, if I go back to normal speed, is I've got a penalty for it. And I'm like, what? I just got, like, nudged off. I've got dirt on my tyres. I'm really slow now because of the dirt on my tyres. And now I get a 0.5 second penalty as well. So it really cost me huge, this. Because now I'm not behind Yatlam Law. And I reckon I could have had that position, 6th place. And bearing in mind that we're in semi-final B. So this is 2nd place in the repechage. This is 4th place. So 6th place in this, 4th place on the repechage race. And then, you know, going back further and further. Actually, I forgot about this bit. Let's have a look at something else here. Look at the gap between Karatza and Zaswilla. Adam, see, this is why Adam was so peed off, right? Look at the gap between. It's a second gap, a 1 second gap. Look at the gap here. You can see it. Watch. How? How can you make a move from a second back? That's absolutely insane. I'm not sure what happened there. That's why Adam was so peed off, basically. If you don't know he was peed off, you do now know. There's Jonathan Wong going to come across the line. Nice easy win for Jonathan Wong there after Eagle's mistake. Yeah, it's going to get that victory. Well played, Jonathan again. Psyker, that is. We then have Carlos, PTM STJ in second place. Giorgio in third. You know who Giorgio is, of course. We then have Koke. You know who Koke is. We then have Igor Fraga starting in second place for the Repechage race. Yatlam Law then starting in fourth place. And then I lost the position to Pierre there because of that penalty. Again, frustrating penalty. So Karatza made it down there. And Adam and Fabian are then out. So you can see why Adam was so peed off, basically. Because Karatza came from over a second back in the braking zone. I mean, you saw the gap. If we go back to it again, there it is. Right, so I'm going to do this in slow motion. I know we're reviewing just my aspects, but you know, Adam's a good friend, so I wasn't sure what happened, but when everyone said he was pissed, I didn't know why. But now look at that guy. It makes me like, look how far back he is. That's insane. And obviously, Adam is then out of this, so it's significant. And you know, I think that's a problem at the moment with these, is that we need more severe penalties because there's no way that was clean. Like, no offense to Karatza or anything, but I can't see it being clean. Anyway, let's jump to the Repechage race now. So obviously this is very interesting as well. It's a Repechage race. It's rallying. It's first time. The minute I saw that this was on the cards, I wasn't happy at all. I will be honest with you. So we've got Cody, who's very fast here in practice. Very, very fast. Same with Fraga. Fraga amazed me with how consistent he was here as well, actually. We then had Yamanaka. Now, Yamanaka wasn't as fast here. I didn't see Yatlam Law practice, so I wasn't 100% sure. We've got Law, but that's where we should have been starting. Top 4 make it through, by the way. Brooks there. I didn't see much of Brooks' practice. I'm not sure. Pierre, again, not too sure. I'm not too sure. Most of these guys, I will tell you who's fast. Cockabun, I knew would struggle because he brakes with his right foot, believe it or not. So you need both here. And I end up in the Focus P8. Do you know what was crazy? I only practiced one car in the practice for this, and guess what car it was? It was literally that exact Ford Focus. There's 2 of them as well, and I got the exact one. I made the decision that I'll pick one of the duplicate cars. There's more chance of getting those, but I never know the exact one I got. Yeah, the draw was done at random with paper strings with the cars on. I love the livery, by the way. Please, PD, please put that livery in the game, please, or somebody make it. I want to play it on the car. It's an awesome livery. But yes, we're going to discuss this Repechage race now. I knew it wouldn't be very clean, I will be honest with you, mainly because it's on rally and not many people race rally in general. It's the first time it's ever happened. It's something I don't recommend they do again. Maybe for a time trial or something, I can understand it. But in terms of racing, it's very difficult. We did have some clean racing on here, don't get me wrong, but yeah, there's so many lines, you know, braking points are all over the place. The minute you get any sliding on, it goes a bit weird. So you can see I'm P8 at the moment, Florian on P9. We'll see what happens as we go through the race at least. And I've got some clips of this as well, so I can show you from my perspective at the very last lap. And in fact, I probably will just show you my perspective from the last lap. So at the moment we're P8, and there is some carnage on this lap. In fact, I might jump to the replays as we go, actually, from my perspective. So P8, and at the moment we're looking okay. We can see P4, you know, the gaps are staying relatively the same. Everyone's taking similar lines. You can see Yamanaka struggling a little bit to get the car rotated. Same with Yatlam Law there. Some of these cars were easy to drive, some were horrible. I think Dan Holland, I suppose I felt more for Dan Holland here because Dan ended up with the worst car, even though I would say him and Cody were easily the fastest here at these circuits. Fraga up there as well, insanely fast here. So, you know, I did feel for Dan in that sense. It definitely wasn't his day at all. So as we come into this first part, this is where obviously carnage does begin. So Watch where I am at the moment, so I'm half a second down there. You're going to start seeing all sorts of movement down here. Oh, I can see Andrew just hits the barrier, the invisible barrier, and then watch this. Bang! Right, so you're probably wondering what's happened there. What happened to you, Tidge? What's going on here? Why is everything suddenly changing? Why is Florian down near the back? So, let's go to perspectives here. So, this is my perspective of it as we come in. Oh, we want no volume on. So, you can see that sort of caused a bit of carnage there with the with Brooks hitting the barrier there. So you can see I get punted there on the inside. So I think, oh crap, someone must have just been hit from behind. And I got to this camera. So this is that same perspective. Bits of carnage. And then, yeah, this happened. So I was just like, okay, that wasn't very nice. That, to me, deserves a penalty. Didn't happen. So we'll continue on all the same. I'd say I think that deserved a penalty. Let me know your thoughts. As I say, I think there should be more penalties in this than there actually are. I believe there was 250 incidents that the stewards had in here. We ended up with 2 penalties, I think. Only 2. But yeah, so that was a bit frustrating. You can see the jump as well. So there's always going to be a bit of contact in this. There's always going to be. Rallycross always has contact in, and this is essentially what it is. So yeah, I'm going through there. I'd say this is where I should be battling. I should be here. I shouldn't be so far back. I just got very unlucky in that Fuji race. I forgot to say Fuji is the one I wanted as well, actually, out the 2 races that were available. So I was happy I got that. So I can't remember what happened here for me to drop down so much. I'm assuming there was more contact. The next replay I have is coming up soon. So we'll have a look at this. Unfortunately, it involves the same driver constantly, so yeah, no offense to the dude, but yeah, you were always around me, so yeah, I'm just going to show these in a second. So you can see Cockabun here, P7, gets a slight nudge, gets another nudge, so we'll have a look at that as well. Oh, let me restart that one for you. So you can see we're coming into this left-hander. We just saw that on the screen. So Adam will gives Cockabun a slight nudge, and then Karatza just gives Cockabun another nudge. And then he hits the barrier as well. Dan Holland gets on the inside there as well. And then, yeah, we're down near the back of the grid at that point. So let's continue on. And we now go over the jump. So you can see Fraga up ahead. Cody in second place. Now, Fraga in that car is always going to be ahead of Cody in this instance. That Audi, very heavy to be balanced here. And Brooks through on Pierre. Pierre fighting. Some battling going on there with Cockabun and Dan Holland. But at this point, because I've already been involved in a number of contacts and seen some stuff that I didn't really like, there's that incident being looked at as well. I was sort of like, well, I can see what's going to happen here, so I'm just going to enjoy myself. I know Jomas, who's behind me, we can have a cracking race. So I was just like, what happens, that happens. If there's any more carnage, there's some more carnage. So we continue on over the jump. Through the left, you can see at the moment it's all looking fairly clean again. Oh, very nice and dandy. Into the braking zone. And then into the left-hander. This one was very tricky because it has a jump on the exit there. You just saw it there. It can put you into the barrier. You'll see that on the final lap, what happens with somebody there as we head up to this right-hander. This is a tricky one. There's multiple lines for this. You can see Pierre goes on the inside. Kratzer gets a second penalty for that actual Cockabun incident. Interesting because it wasn't actually the most severe of incidents in my opinion. But even so, continue on. But yeah, look at this, lovely side by side. So that sort of contact is fair enough. I can understand that sort of contact here. Look at that, surviving, all good, all brilliant, exciting as well. It was exciting to watch this. I can understand that. I know the live stream chat was going a bit nuts for it. You got to be very careful. See, every lap that bump gets somebody. Every lap it gets someone. That fence, because it sticks out, but it doesn't quite stick out as much as you think. So it's that same thing with the contact with Yatlam Law in the race. It's slightly more out. It's invisible of how far out it is. So you may have just seen Dan Holland's just gone to the back. So, well, I'm going to show you this anyway, even though I think it's absolutely insane. So Dan Holland's just gone to the back. So let's have a look what happened to Dan Holland. Now this was the worst one that I saw. So you can see contacts here happening. You can see it's all side by side. At the moment, it's looking fairly okay. You know, we're all leaving space. Look, I made sure I gave Dan enough space on the exit there, and then coming through here. Just watch this. That is nuts to me. That doesn't even get a penalty. So I was like, when I saw that, you should have seen my reaction. In fact, they probably recorded my reaction somewhere. I was like, oh my word, are you having a laugh? You have the full-on firing missile. Now, I don't know what happened beforehand between Dan and Karatza. I have no idea. So there might be some history there. Who knows? But yeah, I was a bit nuts that. I was surprised that didn't get a penalty. But the nice thing was, it got me away from that battle. It got me a second away from Carnage. I was like, excellent. Right, I can catch up now to Kokubun, Yamanaka. I can get involved in this 4th place battle. And in my head, I was like, right, get on it, Tidge. Get on it. You can go for this now. You can see it's still happening back there. 1.8 seconds. There's probably some revenge stuff going on back there as well. I don't know. I say pretty big carnage. So we continue on now. So look, half a second off Kokubun. So I'm thinking, excellent. Here we go. We are involved. We are actually involved in this race now. There's every chance of getting a 4th place because I could see them in the distance as well. It was like, yes, I'm on it. I'm on it. I can be on it here. So into the left. You look at this. See, this is all okay so far. You know, everyone's giving each other room, which is fine. This is what I don't mind. I don't mind this sort of stuff. He got a little bit hit there, did Wilk. I'm not sure fully what happened there. But again, this is slowing them down. See, Kokubun's in there now, and I'm just behind Kokubun. I am just behind him, so I'm thinking, excellent. And we start to hit the mountain there on the exit in that forward focus. You can see Kokubun there, and I'm there as well. Let's go into this left-hander. I think I slightly tap Kokubun at this point. There we go. You just see that tap. I brake and let him go through so he can keep that position. And then, yeah, here we go. So this is the battle 4th to 9th place. I'm thinking, yes, I'm in this shot now. I'm in there. I'm thinking, I can do this. All I need is my opportunity. So coming through here, going through that right-hander. And you can see that this is the kind of racing I like. And look at the TV camera now as it switches. It looks absolutely awesome. So what we're going to do now, we're going to actually go to my perspective. And it'll jump back a little bit. So here we are, my perspective. This is the final lap. So it's nice I got this actually. So coming into here, we just get that slightly wrong. We just tapped Kokubun, which slowed us down a little bit more into this right-hander. And you can see 4th place. Look, they're there. So we know we're in with a shot here, making the finals. I'm thinking, excellent, here we go. We're in the fight. As long as I'm in the fight, I don't care. So coming over here now. Just lost that a little bit on the exit there, but we come through here. We absolutely nail this. From memory, yes, there we go, nailed it. So we're going to be back with these guys as we head then towards this sharp left-hander. Now, I mentioned earlier about the jump, so coming to this left-hander, we come in. Brooks is on the exit there, gets a slight tap from Kokubun, but because he's on the exit there, on the jump, he hits the fence, so we gain a position. You may have heard on the stream when they go, oh, where's Kokubun come from? There you go, that's how he got there, up the inside of Yamanaka, and then Yamanaka comes back at him, and then we're side by side with Kokubun at this point, as then we come down into the left-hander. Again, I knew Kokubun would go deep there, so I tried to go left, to then come back on the right, to try and then do sort of like a weird undercut. It doesn't quite work here, as then we go over the jump, and then into this left-hander, and you see Pierre's just got away here at this point. There's a slight bit of contact there. I'm not sure what fully happened into that braking zone, and then it all gets a bit, it all gets a bit carnagey here because once again somebody hits the fence. Look, you can see that there. If I slow that down, actually, we'll go from here. Let me slow this down. Look at Kokubun, right? So Kokubun is nowhere near the fence. Boom! You can see that gap there. So that's the same thing that happened at Fuji with the contact. Exact same problem here. So there's all sorts of carnage. And then coming down into here, that's a bit skeptical there. I got hit into as well. So you can see how it's all just gone absolutely nuts. And not one of these got a penalty for this. It's a mixture of all sorts happening everywhere there. Carnage. So me and Florian at the back once again in our forward focuses. Me and Jomas, and yeah, so at this point it's like, okay, we're out of the 4th place battle, but we can still have some good fun here. We got Yamanaka, Karatza, Kokubun in front of us. We nearly lose it over the jump there. We get a good run through there, and then up ahead, just watch Yamanaka, just runs way too deep here. I'm going to come down the inside. Watch this for a move. Down the inside, we leave space on the left, and look out, we just get in front of Yamanaka and just behind Kokubun. What a move that is in rallying. I loved that move, I will be honest. I absolutely nailed it. And then into here we go. There's been slight taps from behind. We just keep trying to keep our position. Slight taps in this, as I say, I always expect. But then we go over the jump. And then in to the right-hander. And then we just get hit from behind there by Yamanaka, which puts us into Kokubun. So I couldn't really do anything about that there. You did see that. If you didn't, we'll just rewatch that just quickly. A bit further back. So if we go on 0.5, if you look down underneath my car, as I come into the braking zone, you're going to see another car. Boom, there you go. So that hits me into Kokubun there. So it wasn't me trying to wipe out Kokubun at all. And Kokubun actually still stays ahead of me anyway, so that's all fine. Then continue out of that corner. Florian, Jomas, giving me... I'm going to call you Jomas. It's much easier to say. Giving me room there. So then we're side by side here. And then into the right-hander we go. Try and keep it tight. But I can't... Notice there. So I'm just going to pause a second. Notice how I was going to run into Yamanaka, but I slammed on. Let me just go back to that. And this is my problem with this, because I was trying to race as clean as I could, because they said, race clean. So watch this again. Watch this. Going into here. Look, I'm about to run in. I slam on. Make sure I don't hit Yamanaka. I come out the corner absolutely fine. Then going to the left. Then we got the long jump coming up here. I'm going to hit the barrier quite hard here. Jomas then goes to the left-hand side. Comes over the jump. Just slightly hits me here. But you know what? Jomas does the sportsman-like thing. He just gives me that position back. And me and Jomas, we race clean all the time. You just see there, Karatza hits that barrier. Kokubun hits that barrier. We go around the outside at that point. We then have the inside for this final corner as we then head towards the line. We're then going to come in 10th position out of the 12 runners in this semi-final race. So I'll let you watch that from TV perspective on this last one. But yeah, so that's what happened to me on the last lap, if you wondered, and some of the incidents that happened. I thought it was good to show those, just to show you why on streams I have said I was disappointed with the very little penalties, especially some of those that I've shown you. Obviously, they're only from my perspective. There could have been other bigger, more dangerous actions happened up ahead that I didn't catch. I just knew what happened around me. And as I say, I was disappointed with some of the contacts. I think there should be better racing standards here now. You know, this is the whatever World Final Tour it is. I can't even count, 5th. So we've had 2 World Tours, European Final, a World Final, and then, yeah, this is my 5th, but we've had 7 total. So at this point, in my opinion, the driving standards should be spotless at this point. Don't get me wrong, there'll be contact, there'll be some contact, but some of those moves are so questionable. Yeah, it's definitely just... It's frustrating more than anything, because as you guys know, I race clean. I try and race clean, and if others don't necessarily race as clean, where's the border? Do I then start punting? Do I not start punting? So this is also brings me on to what I'm going to do in the future. Because obviously I have said on stream many times that I'm not doing Nations Cup anymore. And, well, not focusing on Nations Cup, should I say. I am going to do some Nations Cup, but I'm not focusing on it. And the reason is... Well, there's 2 reasons. First of all, is obviously at the moment we're racing N500, N300 all the time. Red Bull X 2014s or 2019 competition cars. You know, and yeah, okay, these cars are nice to race, but I don't want to race them every single event. And it's just getting a bit... I like to race Group 3 and Group 4. They're my sort of, you know... I love racing them. We race them all the time in FIA, but we never race them in... the finals. I think I've raced Group 3 twice in the finals, and that's it. And I'm just like, well, come on. I like racing those. I play Gran Turismo to race that class of car, and we're not. So that's one reason why I'm stopping focusing Nations Cup, and that's why my focus has gone to manufacturers, because in the manufacturer series you race Group 3 and Group 4. So why wouldn't I concentrate on that? So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is literally the points issue at the moment. If you guys don't know, there's a severe points issue. So if I come 8th in the top split lobby, and I've potentially even beaten some of the best names in the world, say I beat Fuvras comes 9th, I might only get 1,800 points. Yet the third split winner, not even the second, the third split winner could be getting over 2k, and I could have finished miles ahead of them in total race time, and potentially I could have actually, you know, beaten that lobby by a country mile and got those points. So there's a big issue at the moment with points. happening in there. And you see Dan Holland got a penalty at the end there. I'm not sure what that was for. Did it say it was under investigation? Oh, it did. So Yamanaka and Dan Holland, the one that was where Dan Holland went on the inside. We saw that on the replay actually. So that one got a penalty. I'd say if I was Dan, I'd be a bit peed off with that because obviously his one didn't get investigated where he got fired into. But yeah, they're the two reasons why I'm not doing it at the moment, because Nations at the moment, you've got to be so lucky. You've got to be so lucky. And if I've got to put in 8, 10, 12 hours a week on Nations, I can't do that. I work for a living. So Nations, put it to a side. I'm going to make sure I stay in the top 10 of the UK. But you know, it's just going to be left there now. That's Nations done with. I can't compete with some of these guys. Some of these guys are playing for 4 or 5 hours a day. I can't compete with that anyway. And you can see that when they get there and they're instantly on it. They're so consistent, and I'm there like, oh, I've put an hour in. Oh, don't know what I'm doing. So they're the two reasons for Nations. It's so focused on end category cars and weird stuff like this with rallying. I don't want to do that. That's not why I play Gran Turismo. I play Gran Turismo for the GT3 and GT4 classes, and the Group 1s and the Group 2s as well. Don't get me wrong. But I play for the race cars, not the road cars, the race cars. So that's one reason, and then the points issue is the other reason. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been interesting, I would say. I hope you enjoyed my perspectives with the replays as well. We're just going to get to the end now because where's the end? If you don't know why Mikhail lost the lead here, by the way, it's because he hit the pit entry on the way in, and the pit entry is sketchy, as you know about Autopolis. I love this. The amount of passion here by Nico, his brother, and Fabian, just unbelievable. So well played, guys, there. Really doing it for Chile. Very proud of your nation. To be fair, I'm not that proud of the UK. Oh, there I am. Way! I'm not that proud of the UK at the moment because we can't handle Brexit. We can't do anything. So there's another reason for not doing Nations. So manufacturers is our focus for this year. We're going to stay with Audi. You chose it on Twitter. I obviously want an Audi R8 as well, so that's kind of a bonus. And as I say, the deal at the end of this year, if I get a podium with Audi at any point at any World Tour, when I get the Audi, the livery that you see me race in game is going on that Audi. I'm not sure for how long, but it will go on. So, yes. That's the deal I'm making with you guys. So let's see what we can do with Audi this year in the FIA 2019. I hope you enjoyed this analysis video. And I will see you at the next event, hopefully. If I can make it, that is. Or next video or live stream that happens on the channel. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.